devil in a red dress. Call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang, bang, got my hand on the trigger. The devil in a red dress. Call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang, bang, got my hand, bang, got my hand, bang, got my hand. Call 911. we're flying so close to where we belong, and we're trying to go somewhere new. And I try to crack this iceberg open till it shatters through the ocean. I wanna make shockwaves. I wanna make shockwaves with you. Gonna move the ocean current till the waves flood what's been burning. I wanna make shockwaves. I wanna make shockwaves with you. And I know I'm only getting higher till it feels like I can walk through fire. And I know I'm only getting higher till it feels like I can walk through fire. Trying to step back and see the view from above, 'cause I know that nothing lasts forever. And I try to crack this iceberg open till it shatters through the ocean. I wanna make shockwaves. I wanna make shockwaves with you. Gonna move the ocean current till the waves flood what's been burning. I wanna make shockwaves. I wanna make shockwaves with you. Shockwaves with you. Shockwaves with you. Shockwaves with you. Shockwaves with you.
Suck me in slow, breathe me in and let me go. Filling the lungs inside you, and the blackened eyes make my way into your mind. Just to know what you knew. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Let the darkness take control. Sink to your heart to find you. Open up your eyes till you're blinded by the lies, so you can see what you do. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but in the dead of the night. Teardrops on the floor. The pain is over. Feel the darkness Drifting to places I should leave, so close to the edge of something so perfect. We were too scared to take the leap. I'm missing the way we used to be. Let me go, left me in this mess I'm falling. Never know, can't find a reason why. Can't get any closer, can't find a reason why. Can't get any closer, can't find a reason why. Couldn't get any closer. Ice cold, swimming against the tide. I wanna forget you, but you pull me in. I know this ocean is far too wide. I wanna forget you. Let me forget you. Push and pull, but you repel me, giving up this fight. Love and hate, we've learned the lines. I'm giving up this fight. You've lost, but I don't feel I have won. I wanna forget you, but only time will heal. Too late to erase the bad we've done. I wanna forget you. Let me forget you. Push and pull, but you repel me, giving up this fight. Love and hate, we've
Full steam through the setbacks. You can't win them all, but I'm proud I tried. I'm glad we had a dialogue. It's good to shape the mind. Speeding up the pace, turning up the heat. Where I need to be for the first time. Taking risks, I'm casting off without a lifeline. Break away, forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway. Cancel the cruise control. Switch it in the manual. Don't you wanna feel right again? Don't you wanna feel whole? Don't you wanna feel?
Hello, guys, and welcome to week 2 of Valanth League's Silver Gold League. I am your play-by-play today, Byron Villa, and joining me is the wonderful Mythic Warpig. How you doing, my friend?
Hello, I'm good. How's it going?
I'm feeling very, very good. This matchup is shaping up to be an incredibly exciting one, just because of the different natures of the teams. Like, I'm looking at Haven right now, and they're all a bunch of what I would consider solid players, I think is the way to put it. Motojo Delight, Nightmare Thor, etc. have all been players who have shown consistent performances across the split, if you look back to last split. However, they've never really been the person to step up. And so my question now to Haven, when I'm looking at this overarching game, is who's going to be that wild card, that big player to step up and to start carrying them? Because Santa Capricen are an incredibly strong team if you're going off their first series.
Yeah, obviously we haven't got too much information about the teams, but looking down the line, all of them are kind of playing carry champions. You got Yasuo on the top laner, Jax and Zhao on the jungler, some Brand played Vayne even, so they're all looking to really put the game on their back and take it forward. Should be a good series.
I believe Haven are losing a ban or two because they've had to bring in an emergency substitute in the support position. Something will not be playing that. Instead, it will be Bombing Dude. Hopefully, he'll make the bot lane a little bit explosive, as I'm sure we all want to see. But the Mundo, the first ban against Motojo.
Something we scouted a little bit. Does look like Mojo plays that a little bit. He does prefer the Renekton and the Jace, the kind of aggressive laners. So just banning out that tank in case they're looking to sort of build a team fight comp as opposed to something a bit more aggressive. I actually think Capricorn's running 2 subs, aren't they, today?
Yes, I believe they are. So that's a big thing for them. However, they did notify as the roster came in. So they are Gucci in terms of the bans, as you probably tell. And Mumu, actually, a lot of these tank pickers getting took away. Maybe they're a little bit, they don't want to go to these kind of like late game team fights. Maybe they want to force Haven onto something more squishy, possibly.
That would match their style. If we are seeing these aggressive champions out, maybe they think they can take a 1v1 brawl in each of those lanes and kind of apply a full court press, whereas they think Haven might be looking to scale. It's a bit of an unusual one, the Mumu ban, because both of these junglers like playing those aggressive duelists at like level 2 and 3 as Jax, Zhao, Jarvan for SCS, whereas we see the Olaf, the Xin Zhao, and the Lee Sin for Delight, who seems to favor those as well. So SCS seems to be a bit more concerned about the scaling and not that early fight.
Yeah, certainly. And SCS, I'm expecting good things. I've heard a lot of good things about this team, you know, whispers in the wind about scrims and all that, and they're really good. So it's now a good chance that on the stream it's trying to finally prove to us how good of a team they are. Can they step up? Because you look at the names, a lot of unknowns for a lot of people in VL, so I'll be interested to see how they do. Now, a big star player in SCS for me to look towards is probably Revelio. I think he is an incredibly strong player, and from what I've seen, the man can carry like a beast. So we'll see if he's able to unlock himself in this game alongside his team, as the Jarvan will be the first pickup.
Yeah, and to that point on the Revelio, he's a big Vayne player, but he does also play things like the Draven, the Kai'Sa, the Caitlyn, really can take over the game. So Haven not having those bans might really hurt them if Revelio can get himself on a comfort pick pretty safe.
Yeah, certainly. With the Jarvan, I do like this as a first pick. It's flexible, but it's also aggressive. It means that SES can very much be in the driver's seat in this early game if you have that Jarvan roaming about, making those flag and drag plays. But if you want to make an early game statement, Lucian Braum will do that for you.
That's a kill lane, and that kind of leans into that targeting of Revelio, maybe force him on the back foot, because that is an aggressive lane. You expect lots of pressure from that.
Oh, you certainly do. And I mean, it's thanks to the stacking it with the Braum passive, Lucian being able to get a few of those auto attacks off, and it can be so deadly if you are a short range AD carry trying to go near those minions. One Braum Q hits you, and all of a sudden, oh, I'm dead. And that's what surprised me about the Vayne pick, because Revelio's a really good Vayne player, but into a Lucian Braum, Vayne's so risky because of that low range, and in fact, you have to really get close to those minions to be able to auto attack. That could be where you're caught out, but Nico and Lux, other two picks being locked in. What do you think of those?
Well, I think that's a comfort pick for Destiny's Power. Obviously, we don't know too much about the synergy of Nightmare Thor and Delight. We don't know how many games they've played together, as he is a sub. But Lux, always safe, great wave clear, and it can really hit like a truck if you catch a lucky binding. If they're looking to set up any sort of get through that late game and set up some death bushes, that Vayne is going to melt.
Oh yeah, she absolutely will. But at the same time, I'm looking at what SCS have right now, and there's a lot of power in, like, they have a lot of different ways they can win this game already. You've got the Nico on the side lane. We've seen what that can do. It can destroy people, as well as those big clumped up team fights. Jarvan's a fantastic engage tool and can really help them try and go for some sort of pick composition if they want to edge into that. And the Vayne is obviously a Vayne in the late game. You don't want to be dealing with that. So they have a lot of different ways that they can draft still, despite the fact they've already locked in 3 picks. Whereas you look on the other side, you've already looked in, okay, they're going to be going aggressive bot lane. They've got a more passive mid lane, and like you can already kind of see what Hands of Haven is going for. Whereas SCS, very smart in the case that you still don't really know what their win condition is going to be.
Yeah, it seems to be quite vague, but from the bans we can see, Mundo, Amumu, Nautilus, Sejuani, all huge team fights, 3 of them big engages. So it looks like they are really looking to force away from that team fight comp and opt into this split. We'll have a Vayne on 2-3 items. Nico 2 or 3 can just push a wave and walk away and be quite safe doing so. So it looks like they're opting into that sort of skirmish split up style. And I think the Renekton adaptation is quite nice because of that. Obviously, it should be a bully into the lane and should carry itself into the mid game.
Yeah, but Renekton's all good, but I mean, you need to get on people to be able to do a lot as Renekton. And with the Gnar on the other side of the lane, we saw Pigwasam pick this up in their win versus Winhowl, and he had a pretty good game. So we'll see what he's able to do versus a much stronger early aggressive pick.
But yeah, he hit full build with that on hit star, Frozen Mallet, Wit's End, and Blade of the Rune King the last game. So very powerful again, opting to that split. And the last hard engage comes through the Nocturne for Hentai Haven. So they do find their way into a team fight, but there isn't really too much to follow it up. And that does concern me as a way of getting into a fight. You have the Morgana. Vayne is quite safe with her invisibility. Nico can just sort of disengage from a fight with her stealth. So not too many inroads for Hentai Haven unless they can start making these picks with the Braum and the Lux.
Yeah, for me, it's about how they're going to control early priority, because they have a Renekton, they have a Lucian Braum. These lanes are expected to win, and if they are, how are Hentai Haven going to be able to play around the priority that they have? That's what's going to, for me, decide the game. Because Lucian Braum or Renekton in the late game aren't going to be all that. You need to be able to use those advantages you have in the early game to go and get dragons, secure objectives, get platings. These are all things that are going to be imperative to Hentai Haven winning this game, because if they fall behind early game, all of a sudden they've got to face a scaling Vayne, this Gnar in the side lane, big team fight composition with Morgana and Jarvan turning around and a Nico around the side. You don't want to deal with that. So really, those side lanes, keep your eyes on them, because they are key matchups for Hentai Haven, well, for the whole game, really. Because if this Lucian Braum doesn't get ahead, there's going to be a problem. Or if they get ahead, they don't do anything with the lead, that's also going to be a problem.
Yeah, and I think because of that, the level 1 and 2 is going to be really significant. Obviously, we have Morgana on one side and Braum on the other, so probably going to expect some shenanigans because both of them are great to invade with. But it's going to be what this Jarvan does off of his first gank. If he's going to look to apply some pressure on that Lucian Braum where Nocturne can't because it's a Nocturne early. See if he can sort of deal with the early pressure. Maybe even look to force that fight on level 2 with the red buff. We'll have to see how that plays out, because if Jarvan can impact these lanes before Nocturne hits level 6, this could be quite a simple game for Sons of Capricorn to play out.
Yeah, for me, a big target for me is painted on Nightmare 4's head. He's against a Nico Draven, which is already an incredibly strong mid jungle duo, but also he's took Ignite, which really surprises me when you're playing Lux. I mean, you can use it to possibly try and snowball, but realistically, that Ignite, he's never really going to be in the range to use it unless he's heading
And if he
forwards.
is, he's in a bad situation.
Yeah. And much if I'd seen go something like the barrier or like a cleanse or something, just try and get out of some of the sticky situations that you can end up in as a Lux who doesn't have any mobility tools in her kit. So I really do think if Nightmare 4 does try and overstay his welcome in the mid lane, tries to punish Destiny's power a little bit too much, that Jarvan gank round the side flag and drag, all of a sudden first bloods over to Destiny's power. Methor, he's stuck there. It could be really bad. Like, I can see that scenario snowballing in favor of SCS, and it's certainly where they have the advantage early game. But we'll
Yeah,
have to see how it could work out. I mean, he could get like 3 kills into Nesti's power and start being this monster Lux. We don't know yet, but for me, that Ignite pickup, big question mark.
Yeah, I much prefer seeing something like a teleport on Lux. Push in early as much as you can, get a favorable time with your Lost Chapter, and always be around to help this Nocturne, who is going to be fine dueling early game, but really has no ways out. So if he catches himself in the wrong spot and Nico's around, and Lux is based or anything, that is going to be a difficult situation for the Nocturne. So having that teleport would apply a bit more pressure, or even the cleanse, as you say, to get out of that CC chain that Nico can set up quite easily.
Yeah, especially alongside the likes of a Morgana, you can walk in there and one binding, you're donezo. So we'll have to see how that mid lane matchup pans out. I am expecting it to be more this game about Hentai Haven, hopefully winning both side lanes, being able to smash those towers open, then use that to kind of cave in on the mid lane and get some of those juicy objectives that you're going to want as that team. It's just whether or not they're going to be able to execute on the early game champions of Renekton and Lucian Braum down in the bot lane. However, we'll finish this spectator later round. We're going to be starting to load into games. So everyone in chat, give me your predictions. Who's going to win this game? Will it be Hentai Haven after losing narrowly in a 2-1 defeat last week, or will it be the new dominant SCS? Will they be starting to stamp their authority on this league? Let me know. Man, I'm pumped.
Obviously, they did come off of a 2-0 win. One of those games was a forfeit, so they're really on a one-game winning streak, but they'll take it. And obviously, game here could decide for them if they're going top of the table.
Yeah, it certainly could be. I'm very excited for this AD carry matchup, though. I mean, not only do we have 2 fantastic skins, I mean, the Massey Vice is already like one of my favorite skin lines, but also, if you highlight on the Masteries, you have 2 Mastery 7s going against each other, you know. Not only do we have Ravello's insane vein, but you also have Soichik. He's played a good bit of Lucian. This isn't going to be like, oh, I'm trying out this early game version. He knows how to play this kind of matchup, especially with the Braum. So we'll see what they want to do. Another thing I want to point out that I didn't notice in the summons beforehand, not only do we have an Ignite on Nightmare Thor, we have an Exhaust on the Braum.
Yeah, that's very aggressive onto the vein. You expect that probably level 2, they'll just throw that down as he jumps forward onto a minion and tags him with the passive. Obviously, Morgana, if she opts into an early Black Shield, will nullify that. So we'll have to see if Viking picks that up level 2. He's probably going to go for something like a pool level 1, given he has the Airy, free poke, free harass. Unless we see some shenanigans here, as we do see Hentai Haven immediately pinging on the blue side red bush.
Well, I'm not all in this game, so that's about end a little bit dodgily. I'm getting in there, you know. Slow but steady wins the race, guys. Don't forget that.
For those of you who may be able to see, we have seen SCS walk entirely past Hentai Haven as with both teams are invading onto the other buff and camping out in the bushes. A lot of action going on. There might be some tomfoolery when they both realize that neither of them are there.
Oh, wait. Okay, I'm up to speed now, and Pink Panther theme, please commence, because these guys... someone's going to meet someone, and it's not going to be pretty.
We see Pickle's man leaving, and Renekton his base. So 4v4. Who loses this game of chicken? Who yields first and doesn't commit to the steal? It looks like SCS might be in a dangerous spot if the Jarvan goes first and doesn't check it with the flag.
Oh my god, he could be getting caught out here. Burst it down so quickly. That's going to be first blood going over to Delight. That's exactly what they want on that Nocturne. And that's going to mean they get a red buff for free. Great play by Hentai Haven, baiting SCS in there. Clearly knowing that early game strategy and punishing it straight off the bat with a level 1 advantage.
Yeah, it's a really good early play, and obviously it's going to massively delay the job, and he hasn't even reached his buff yet, and Delight is walking away with the red buff. Ravello and Viking have to take the really long way around to get to lane, as they've also missed on 3 minions of experience, so there's no contest who's going to be hitting that level 2 first.
Yeah, exactly. And the Lucian Brum level 2, like you said, so important. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that. The good thing is that Destiny's Power has a level lead in the mid lane thanks to that play, so, you know, small advantages happening there, which is going to help them out a little bit, but that first blood going over to Nocturne, to me, is so important, because Nocturne is very much about getting to that level 6 mark, and then you can start coming online, and having that first blood means that he's going to be able to have that extra gold on top of that first back, that reset, cash in and all that, so his level 6 all-in is going to be that much stronger.
Yeah, and if they play that sort of race to the lane, we'll have to see if they play safe. Viking has opted into the binding, as we've just seen, so looks like Bombing is going to have a free avenue to engage, as that cooldown is going to be quite long, and there is no shield. We'll see if SCS have managed to keep it under tower, and therefore keep themselves safe, or if there's going to be a bit of a problem.
That early game as well in the top lane, we talked about how strong Renekton is, but into that now, I mean, Picklesman is having a field day in that matchup. Already 6 CS up, you look at the health bars, and Picklesman is practically untouched, where Mojo stack at about half health, so...
Yeah,
power of range into melee there, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and if Picklesman can manage his jump, I can't remember, the hop away, and Mojo can never engage in him, he's got that press the attack, there's going to be a lot of damage coming through.
Oh, this could be big. Mojo's trying to slice and dice out of the way, but the free hit passive is going to go down, and Picklesman gets the first... Well, not the first blood anymore, actually. I'm not saying got it, but, you know, gets the very important kill onto the Renekton there. But the knockup comes through. The light has gone down. Great use of the Ignite there. And now Nightmare Thor, you have no mobility there. You got... Oh, you do have a flash, actually, but I don't think it's going to save you. McGough with the Q. Double kill going over to that Jarvan. And just like that, the gold swings over. Already a 1k gold lead for Sons of Capricin.
Complete change of fortunes. McGough is going to be very happy picking up both of those kills. Let's see if he can steal away the chickens, but he will have very early jungle item completed, which means that this Nocturne shouldn't be able to challenge him in any battles. Hopefully that means they guarantee their safety through the level 6, and maybe if they can hit that first, start snowballing this mid lane as Lux is out both summoners.
Not only is Lux out both summoners, she's out like 10 CS. That's huge. I mean, sure, Destiny's Power has to back at some point, but that is very, very rough for Nightmare 4, and it's going to be hard for him to kind of weasel his way back into this lane, if possible. Bot lane, nothing much has happened there. I mean, in fact, it's kind of Lucian Brum losing out on a few of these trades, as you see there. And in top lane, where this big Renekton early game pick is, he's just been killed solo. So, overall, these side lanes that I was talking about that was so important for Ensei Haven, right now it's not panning out for them.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a slight consolidation price. Mojo manages to TP back. I imagine Picklesman was being a bit greedy and stayed too close. Had to burn the flash. So could look for an avenue in there if Delight heads his way topside, but he is moving down to the bot lane. I think it's ambitious to see if he can try and dive here, so he might just be looking for pressure on these Krugs, but that would be a dangerous thing to try and invade. Well,
it looks like he's going towards the Raptors, but the two junglers are going to meet and then run away. Oh, I don't want to fight there. But yeah, I'm not really sure what Delight's doing right now. I mean, he could have been securing some vision. That would have been very, very useful, but unfortunately, he's not getting much here. He could look towards the dragon, maybe positioning around, but that was odd. That was certainly an odd bit of pathing right there.
And Mojo has just been frozen out. We saw him sitting in the banana bush on the blue side. Not quite sure what he was doing there, but he's lost himself a handy chunk of experience as Picklesman was able to get a slow freeze. It is now going to be pushing back, but I imagine he'll be hitting level 6 and engaging as soon as he can.
Yeah, and Destiny's Power also having a level lead in that mid lane. Nightmare 4 only on about 25% HP, so, you know, one flash ultimate for Destiny's Power, and that could be it for Nightmare 4. His second death of the game happening there, but Lucian, what are you doing, Salty Tricks? You're getting caught out by so many bindings. That cannot be happening. Oh, unfortunate miss of the Nana there.
Yeah, good timing on the stun from Mojo. Knew the interaction, knew he could get away. That was not the best play from Picklesman, but I give it to Mojo that he played that quite well. He is familiar with this champion, so probably is aware of the few matchups you can't win as Renekton.
Delight could be getting caught out here. Falcon Dragon does get spell shielded, but Delight has no way out. He's trying to run away, but there are no escape tools on this Nocturne. Can he get out? The ward comes down. The last auto attacks. Can they get it? Yes, they can. We've third kill of the game in 6 minutes. And Nightmare Thor, you've got no mobility tools. There we go.
Mojo's collapsing, but he has no fury.
Yeah, and 2v1, I don't think he wins this one at all. Nightmare Thor has no mana to help him. He's a sitting duck. He's just going to get killed there. But McGough going quite low. Pigman trying to help his buddy out, but the shutdown gold goes over to Motor Joe. And Pigman won't be able to shut him down right now. So overall, I believe about it's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of SCS. But still, that shutdown gold going over to Motor Joe going to be huge for this early game Renekton. Finally getting him that gold boost that he desperately needs.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's 1 kill down and 8 CS, but he's only 300 gold behind. So that shutdown doing its work to kind of claw him back into the lane. We'll have to see if it's enough, as he has managed to finish his Tiamat, which will allow him, you think, to probably put some pressure onto that jungle. Maybe look to sort of take away the counts from the Jarvan if he's able to get the shove into the Gnar.
Yeah, the hope is he shoves in now, and then he can use that pressure to go around and ward up the jungle and give all this information over to his team. That can be so useful in these games. It's just whether or not he can do that, whether or not Gnar will let him get near that minion wave, because we've seen it at the start. Those auto attacks are incredibly deadly from this Gnar. So Mojo's not careful. He could get caught out again, and this bot lane, I have to keep coming back to it. It's Alicia and Braum, and they're behind on CS. I mean,
and it's been really well played. I mean, it's been a permanent freeze from Sons of Capstone. Reverse just held that lane all the time between where you see it now. It hasn't moved, and they have not been able to exert any pressure because they just haven't had the vision of where Jarvan is. Any point they could be ganked, so they've had to play very safe. And it looks like they're going to shove it out now and go to back. But you can see the lack of pressure that they've had. Revello is sitting on 3 biscuits. He hasn't had to use any of them. There's just been no damage dealt to his vein.
There we go. The Paranoia is used, though. And McGough, can you escape this one? No, you can't. Nightmare Thor gets his first kill of the game, and the Viking wins. Will get locked up eventually. There he goes. A kill going over. Double kill for Nightmare Thor. And Revelio, forced to flash away, he is now fleeing. We'll see if he can survive this one under the Tower of Delight. Not going to run under the tower and risk his life there. Nightmare Thor also throwing out a few abilities, but unable to secure a kill on Vayne. But 2 kills now. Going over to Anti-Heaven, but the Gnar! That pick was huge, but there is the ultimate being used by Renekton there. Motojo keeping himself alive under that tower, but forced to use that key cooldown there, meaning he's now going to be kind of under the rat. Oh, Mojo, he's going back in. He's going to see if he can get the kill. Can he get the outplay? Yes, he can! Shut down once again going over to Mojo. 2 kills for him now. They've both been shutdowns, and it means that gold lead is now in his favor.
Great knowledge of the champion there. Knows that even though he can go and take that trade, gets the huge heal from his Q. And just, Pigman either didn't respect it or didn't know well enough, but he died with the flash up there. Really well played from Motojo. That should put him nice and comfortably in the lead. And perhaps from these recent plays, that sort of side lane pressure that we were worried about, looking a bit more likely for Enterhaven. Possibly adding back to their win conditions here, as we can see, aside from the Lux, there's actually an advantage in every lane in terms of gold.
Yeah, it certainly is, and the reason the Lux doesn't have an advantage isn't because of the fact that, like, mechanically, or she hasn't had the fights to really get that. It's more down to the CS differential. Destiny's Power has had a lot more control over the lane. Nightmare Thor, he struggled to get some of those last hits down, which is a bit unfortunate. You do hate to see it. Sometimes there are a few players in the Silver Gold League who are really, really good, and they just can't get those CS numbers down, and that can be so important as the final spark goes down onto Destiny's Power, just poking him out this lane, trying to gain some pressure for himself.
Yeah, I mean, the CS difference, I think, stems from the early level 1 where Destiny Power just returned to his lane, got the whole shove in, able to hit level 2 early. Nightmare Thor working from a disadvantage, and obviously that kill. He's done all right for himself, being, say, 20 CS behind, but maybe that's down to Destiny Power applying some good pressure as we see another fight.
Yeah, we do, and it's going to be around this Rift Herald. We'll see if they want to continue it. However, McGough and Pigman are both aware of this one, and Destiny's Power will slowly but surely be walking his way up. So
they need to get this up.
And they defend this one as now. The package that comes in, great cast distance onto Delight. He's been locked out of this one. Oh, and a fantastic use of the Nico ultimate. They're going to lock down so many members. Pigman is slain Delight, gets the shutdown going onto Motojo too, and it's so huge, and it's looking like that Rift Herald is going to get secured as well for Santa Cruz, and despite the fact they did not start it in the first place, huge win for them.
That is all Destiny's Power. They take the free leash, they take the wonderful team fight that they managed to find for themselves. Jarvan just didn't dive fast enough, and it meant that Hento Havens just had to worry about the damage that came through from Nico. That shield, you can't get through it. And they walk away with a couple of shutdowns, a couple of kills, and that Rift Herald. We'll have to see if Nar uses it in the top lane to get himself a few more plates.
Yeah, that could really be the kicker there. I mean, Mojo, he does have a lot of pressure, but as soon as that tower goes down, it kind of saps a lot of it away because you can get pushed in so hard in top lane, especially when your members are focusing on the other side of the map. I do feel that pain a little bit, but looking across the rest of the map, I mean, that top lane looking really strong now. You know, the jungle matchup is, I'd say, still decent amount even, but like trying to make something happen in mid lane, but not gonna be able to execute anything. The bot lane still worries me. It's just a Vayne should not be going even with a Lucian Braum under like any circumstance. Oh, Mojo, any attempt to turret there, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, Revelio's done a good job. He's 400 CS behind, but all of that is just going to be from the kills we saw around the Dragon Pit, which he had no avenue into. Done really good work to stay even, despite that sort of free pressure that to be given up. And yeah, as you say, it's a concern for Haven. If they can't shut down this Vayne, that's going to. There's no way that the Lucian can outduel or even outdamage her. So we have to worry about them. Maybe they have to divert a bit more pressure. I expect the next turn up should be aimed towards that lane, just to try and snowball it.
Yeah, and now McGough, he's looking for a play onto the Lucian Braum bot lane, but is not able to find the engage. However, the Rift Herald is sat here slamming down the top lane turret for a good few platings, but Nightmare thought he wanted to get a counter because man, but misses his skill shots, unfortunately. So 3 members being forced up top lane to deal with this Rift Herald, and now, with the pressure that's been drawn away by that objective, all of a sudden, that dragon, easy pickings.
And it's the correct reaction here from Sons of Capri Sun. Apply some pressure in the bot lane, force them away with the gank, have Pickles Man absorb all of the members of the team, it seems. Take that Ocean Drake. It's a little late in the game for Ocean Drake to be super valuable, but you will always pick it up for free. I think Destiny's Power picked up a couple of plates as well, as that mid tower is only on 2. So they've taken 6 plates across the board to
Mojo,
1.
buddy, you're going to be going incredibly low there. Pickles Man, what are you doing? That's actually mad. He just ran down Mojo. There's nothing that Renekton could have done about that. Dang.
Yeah, I see the Black Cleaver come through a big item breakpoint. I don't think he quite respected the armor shred there. Pickles Man just cuts him down.
Yeah, I mean, you usually used to playing something like Fleet Footwork on the NAS. I've seen the PTA come out there. As soon as those stacks came down, Mojo just melted. And it's this kind of matchup that's starting to swing in Pickles Man's favor. And oh, great use of the flag and drag there. Fantastic.
Nocturne's coming in.
But Nocturne trying to use the paranoia to get a kill, but is unable to do so right now. Does get the kill onto the Viking, wins V2 in the end. Revelio so low to find the spark and the force. So the chase to be able to get that kill. McGough now doesn't know whether to go forward or backwards or left or right, and he is going to be stuck a little bit out of position with Pickles Man able to secure a kill for himself. Nightmare Thor also stuck out of position. So much damage coming from this Nara. The Pop Blossom. Oh,
what a combo!
Oh, that Nara into the Pop Blossom was absolutely beautiful. And whilst it looks like a good fight for Anti-Haven in the first few seconds, the teleports down are so important, and all 5 members eventually end up coming down for SCS when they are able to secure the win in that fight. And that's kind of thanks to the fact that tier 1 top turret has already gone down, allowing Pokemon to go down. And Mojo, he's only just now starting to hit that top lane turret.
Yeah, and Pokemon paying forward all of the pressure he's managed to generate. That TP advantage he managed to create for himself results in a triple kill off the back of that fight. He is now 8-1-2, finishes his Frozen Mallet from almost nothing. And it's looking pretty bleak for Mojo. He does pick up a turret as consolation, but you have to feel like that 1v1 is now effectively over.
Well, not in that 1v1, but he ain't going to be doing much to a Vayne, I'll tell you that right now. Revelio getting his first kill of the game there. Played with the Rune King and now on that big carry. And you do not want to be giving any gold over to this Vayne, never mind a kill. As now, I mean, this is really the perfect scenario for Sons of Capri Sun. You've got that mid lane lead we were on about. Your top lane's gone incredibly well. This Renekton isn't going to be doing much for the rest of the game. You completely nullified Lucian Braum. This is exactly what you wanted to see from them, really, if you look at Champ Select. Yeah,
and absolutely. And you're a flex caster. You go for both. So let me ask, what do you think is the win condition back for Haven now?
Well, Haven, they just need to force some kind of picks. Like they can't realistically fight Sons of Capri Sun 5v5. It's just not going to happen. It's like the NAR's too strong at this point to be able to correctly execute a 5v5. Really what you want to do now is try and force plays into like one member. So Like, look at the Gnar right now. You've got 2 members there. If your jungler was about with the paranoia, go on that, get a 3v1 kill, and then use that to get the tower. Your aim is going to be getting those picks, because you still have a lot of great tools to get picks. You've got the Renekton, who has great skirmish ability. The Lucian Braum is still a Lucian Braum combo right now. Then the Nocturne with the paranoia has the nice benefit of just being able to be mobile across the whole map. So use the fact that you have all these advantages and try and secure picks across the map. Don't fight 5v5 because it's not gonna work.
And I think, we haven't seen a proactive Nocturne really yet, but I think Ravello and Viking Winds might be overextending here.
Oh, they certainly could be. The paranoia just come in. The light secures the kill. Burst down Revelio so fast. Double kill from the Nocturne there. And that's exactly what we were on about. They knew that the Gnar was bot lane, they knew the Nico was mid lane, and they take advantage of the numbers advantage they have on the top side. That's exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, and they finally see that proactive Nocturnal. He's been sort of sitting in defensive. We saw it used a couple of times in the river to no real effect. One to try and counter gank, but now finally starting to use it. He will hit level 11 soon, so that cooldown will drastically shut down. But we'll have to see if he can make a couple more of those, because there's still nowhere near close enough.
Forces the flash out of Motojo there, and now we do see Pixelman. Is he caught out here? The culling is coming through. Can they secure the kill onto this now? He's exhausted under the tower. Twitchers are going very deep, but oh, that's a big enough.
Hits them!
The 2v1 outplay by Pickles, man. This guy is insane. He's 10-1-2 now. And they just don't keep track of that Gnar bar, and as soon as you lose track of it, it's lights out. They go way too greedy with the dive, and they are punished.
Yeah, Head to Heaven probably lamenting the loss of some of their bans. Feel like they might have a few more targets into the next game. I don't imagine this Gnar is getting through. That's a good mastery of the champion from Pickles, man. As he just pulls them into the 2v1. I thought he'd overextended, but manages to dodge out from both the culling and the Braum ult. Walk away and then slam them back in the turret. That's very nice play. And using that pressure, he's just managed to pull everything around. We can see Ravello and Viking Winds just freely pushing in that top side.
Yeah, we're going to take a little bit of poke here, but not going to be too much. But they are positioning around this Mountain Drake now, and that's another important objective for both teams, really. But look at the priority that Sons of Capricorn have over this dragon. There's just nothing that Sons of Haven are able to do to try and penetrate this group of 3 players. I mean, Tigris and McGough and Desi's power. Oh, so strong. And Mojo, even that feels like a miss. But just he's forced to use the Dominus there just to try and get the Sons of Capricorn away from that dragon. But they're not going to be able to secure it by any means, and it's just going to be positioning for positioning's sake, really. As top lane, it's going to stay even, which is, you know, Vayne's very happy dream. And you know, it just feels like the longer this game goes on, the better it's going to be for Sons of Capricorn. Like, they're already so strong, and then using their strong point very well. Things like this Vayne are just going to slowly but surely gain relevance. Story Trickster force the flash out, the culling comes through.
Flash for flash, but the support will happily take that trade every time they AD carry. That's now a Vayne who can just engage whenever she wants with that condemn.
Also, Story Trickster forced to use the heal as well, as the Mountain Dragon is started up the light, not being allowed to go anywhere near this objective. Pokemon just says straight up no. Nightmare Thor is stepping up though, seeing if he can force a play out here, and the Thunder Smite unable to secure the dragon.
Confident smite from McGough. It's very good. I really want to see some more sweepers coming through for Sons of Capricorn. They have advantage. They have pressure everywhere. Pick up a couple of pinks and a couple of sweepers, and what little vision Hente Haven has, you can just completely choke out. I hope to see them make some inroads. But the next objective has got to be this mid tower. It's still somehow standing despite the 40 CS difference. Now if there was been able to cling onto it. We'll have to see if Sons of Capricorn can kind of break that to give them a few more inroads into these side lanes.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's the side lane pressure that very much has been the story for the side of Sons of Capricorn, because they've been able to get that top lane turret down, the bot lane turret down, 2 dragons, a Rift Herald. But now it's time for them to clump up and group in the mid lane. And I feel like there's even a half of it that says maybe they don't want to do that, because they still have this Vayne who can sit in the side lane for free. I feel like they keep pressuring the side lanes to the point where they can get mid lane eventually, but they don't need to all group mid right now. I mean, they are going to, because they can. They have
because it's ARAM time, because no matter what, it's always going to end up in an ARAM. Yeah. But I'd like to see them take it down, and then they can move toward this Baron. Like, it's still a very safe position for Nightmare Thor to be in, despite being quite a way behind, especially in items, to say the Gnar, to the Vayne. can just hold out these waves. But if she's forced back towards her second tier tower, we can see Sons of Captain maybe look to get some Baron.
Three people together. The Nara is huge. Bob wasn't going to get the light bursted out. The rest of Hensai Hero, and they're running wounded, but that is a quadra kill for Revelio. That is huge for this thing. Huge gold spike for this scaling AD carrier. Now there's a 7k gold lead that's going to be snowballed into a Baron buff. This is that one fight has just turned it.
No reason not to do it. I mean, that was a great combo. The Gnar into the Jarvan wall, into the Pot Blossom. Revelio didn't really need to do anything there. He just happily ate up all 4 of those kills. He'll put himself 1,000 gold lead ahead of his counterpart, despite his being a Lucian. And that's going to be a Baron buff. Let's see what they can get done with this as they do base, and we'll see what big items come through. I expect that's going to be a completed Rage Blade on the Vayne, which is obviously a terrifying point for Hensai Havens.
Yeah, it certainly will be. Now 22.5 minutes into this game, and it's hard to see a light for Hensai Haven. Now, do you see them coming back into this game, or do you see them now trying to figure out what they want to do to the next game more than anything? Because right now, I'm looking at the team that SCS has, all the goal advantages, the objectives they were able to secure, and it's like, Hensai Haven, I feel like it's better for them just to now look towards the next game, because it's just such a strong showing from SCS.
There are a few avenues I think they have left. You might be right that it might be time to just mentally retire from this one and see what you can do. If they can get a pick, maybe SCS spread out and try and play that 1-3-1 kind of comp, which their comp is built around. If this Nocturne pick, which was sort of a reaction pick, the last thing we saw them pick up, if they can use that to find a couple of kills in the mid lane, force a fight, and then get back to the side lanes before they lose too many towers, they can maybe wait out this Baron. But otherwise, I don't see Nightmare Thor being able to clear waves. It would have been fine without the Baron buff, but with that magic resistant, the minions getting the extra health, it's going to be tough for him to keep those away from the turret. Their one saving grace is that between the Vayne and the Nico, there's not too much range to actually damage those towers. So if Braum can sort of stand there in front and eat up as much damage as he can, they might be able to stall out this Baron buff just long enough to see if they can force a fight on their terms. But their window is slipping with this early game comp.
Yeah, and the issue is the Gnar is just such a threat on the side lane. They're going to try and take him down now. Pokemon is stunned up. But look at the mid lane. That's his power already. So he got a kill for himself. Pokemon outplaying 1v2. Delight's going to get popped by the Pot Blossom. Double kill going over to Leslie's power now. And that tower going to be going so low. Doesn't matter by auto attack range if there's no one there to defend the tower in the first place. And Pickles, man, taking control of this top lane, dragging 2 people away, allowing such an easy teamfight win for SCS in the mid lane. And really, I mean, you're looking at an MVP for this game, it has to be Pilkers, man. That man is just out of his mind.
Yeah, he really has put this team on his back. There's been good performances across the lineup, but he 10, 1, and 5 has really just decided.
Finding lands, great use of that by Viking wins. First goes over Revelio. He's positioning aggressively, but not able to secure anything else for himself as the final hour is used. Brian does land though onto Bombing Dude. Can he survive? Yes, he can. But can the Nexus Tower survive? That's a completely different story.
And I think with the Nocturne out, they might have to peel back, but there's still 20 seconds on Solid Trickster. If they want to fight, they could take it now, but it looks like they're going to move away. Probably pick up this next Drake which is coming through.
They say that, then there's an over inhibitor in the top lane, and all of a sudden they've got their eyes on that objective as Pigglesman able to look at the aggression from system. No, but he doesn't.
He gets tired.
In the end, that's so huge. The fact that he's still going to do so much damage. I don't think it matters. We've got
what can Salty do?
SCS to pull in despite Revelio also going quite low, but overall it is a 4-4-1. Can't really be complaining about that one. And now SCS, they're going to be knocking on heaven's door, if you will. Salty Trickster and Delight, only 2 members left alive. Viking does use the stopwatch to stay alive right now, so it's just a completely out of position, zoned away from his own Nexus turret.
There's no one to save the Nexus.
He was going to be securing that kill. Delight cannot do anything but watch his base crumble in front of him. They want this kill. It is not going to happen in the end. Sons of Capri Sun, they look dominant in their first game victory.
Cracking performance, especially from Pickerman. Rightly goes legendary just as the game ends. That is going to be that's going to be a wrap with nearly a 15k gold lead, only 26 minutes. Very well played from Sons of Capri Sun. We'll have to see if Hensai Haven can bounce back with a few more bans under their belt, hopefully for the next game. See if they can definitely take away that Gnar. I don't see it getting through. And see if they can come back from the sweep.
Yeah, so before we go for our break, quick question: if you're Hentai Haven, what is the biggest change you make here? Is it do you need to pick something else, just go for a different win condition? Is it a certain person you just need to shut down somehow and try and target them? Like, what's the if you're Hentai Haven, you've lost this game in this fashion. What should be your strategy coming into the next game of the series?
Well, I fully imagine they'll go to target the top lane, although I don't actually necessarily agree if that's correct. Pickles Man could probably be banned out, and they need to focus around their bot lanes. They drafted these aggressive lanes and then did nothing with them. They were denied a few of the engaged junglers, but things like the Lee Sin, things like the Xin Zhao, they were still open, and I kind of want to see Delight picking those up if they're going to go for these aggressive bot lanes. Otherwise, acknowledge that Revillo is going to freeze you out, play for a more scaling comp, and see if you can match them in the mid game, because as it was, they got dominated in the early game despite their laners, then they got just snowballed over for the rest of it.
Yeah, so we will head for a quick break now, guys, but it is only game 1 of the series, so it ain't going to be over yet. Hentai Heaven could come and bring it back, so keep your eyes peeled onto your screens. Maybe not too close, because that's probably bad for your health, but I'll see you guys in a bit.
The fire makes the city lights up bright. Close your eyes and just stay tight. We have to go. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me.
brothers on the rise now. Endless celebrations all in my house. Levitating now, I'm super duper fly now. London boy, but DC where I reside now. Put the time in while you always yelling time out. And quit it, cause I know I'm coming with it. You were sitting, you were wishing I was handling my business. Now I got the ball like Harry Potter playing Quidditch. And my business is humongous, you would think that happens in there. Damn man, I'm all that, yeah, I'm all that. Working for that whip, yeah, that what you call that. I'ma blow up in the summer, have him yelling fall back. And I've always been ahead like an effing ball cap. Man, I came in the game like, whoa. Got a couple chains on me cause I like gold. They told me I'm the best and I told them I know. Cause when I'm in your town, every ticket I sold. Yeah, they saying I'm the man. Facts, bro. Lot of haters, tell me where they at though. I'm the new pop, all I do is rap though. Want me on your song, throw a couple stacks, yo. Woo! Everybody wanna do the same thing. Yup, that's why we ain't on the same page. Do my own thing, and I maintain. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. I'm going mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. Yeah, I'm going mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. I'm going mainstream. Mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. Yup. I'm going mainstream. Damn. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. Woo. I'm going mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. I'm on my own, broken alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Don't stare cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the roaring sea. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. My darling dear, you're never here. When I'm in pain, you hide and disappear. Like shadows in the atmosphere, charting the stratosphere.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Valanth League Silver Gold League for the summer split. I am Byron Villa again, and we have a series that I'm very excited to watch because SES, they just smashed Game 1 in dominant fashion. The question is, what are Hensai Haven going to do now?
Yeah, do they opt into that early game strategy again? Hope they can execute it a bit better. Do they look to sustain them out into the mid game? We have some probably more reliable wave clear than the Lux, although I don't know where you find that. We'll have to see. I expect fully that they target this top lane with Pickles Man not getting that Gnar unless it goes first rotation.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see what they opt for. I imagine the Gnar is going away.
It looks like they're not banning. Have they not got their bans back?
Oh, yeah, maybe they haven't. Maybe it's we don't have the bans for
Ooh.
which will be a big blow because that Gnar will likely go with it unless they want to pick it away. That is their other option, is they pick the Gnar away.
Yeah, they can try and first pick it. It's not something I've seen Mojo be playing a lot, but it does fit into his wheelhouse. He's a Jace Renekton kind of player. Wonder what SES do. Do they just keep banning away these tanks? And it looks like they're going to stick with what worked last time and say, Hensai Havens, you have to come to us. You have to bring something new to the table.
Oh, certainly. That's exactly what you're gonna want to do. If you're in the lead, like very much, it's much better for you to stick for the style until it breaks because you don't have to show your hand in this series now. It's not on you to, throw out the whole deck. You would play the hand, well, then you got to see what Hentai Haven want to do in response now. If
Yeah,
they
clean
wanted to
up.
do a clean 2, they could switch it up, but then there's no pressure on them because they have that extra game in hand now.
Yeah, they can, and all they have to do to clean up, honestly, don't invade level 1 without dropping a few wards of your own, and they'll be in a much better spot. Remember, even with that disadvantage, they managed to claw that game comfortably ahead. So we'll have to see what they bring. But taking away the Nocturne, it seemed to be Delight's sort of default comfort pick. I don't think he got enough value out of those ultimates to really merit the ban, but clearly they're concerned that that could be an inroad as a form of hard engage. So we'll have to see where that comes in. And what they've given up the ban for.
Yeah, and I mean, what are other bans? They had the Amumu they banned in first rotation, and there was
Nautilus was the other
Nautilus.
one.
Yeah,
So let's
Nautilus,
see if
exactly.
Bombing Dude plays that. So we'll see. I know it's a last-minute sub, so they may not have been able to scout it very well. So it might be that they were just banning out the Nautilus on the off chance Motor Joe or Delight even play it.
But yeah, because it is quite a flexible pick, so that is the benefit of having Nautilus around. But
yeah, it's good into sort of early aggression like the Gnar because of the shields, but overall that stat matchup still goes Gnar's way. We'll have to see if they just insta lock it if it gets through to them. There's the Sejuani, the other comfort jungler taken away.
So Amumu and it's gonna be what was it? I keep forgetting, damn it. Nautilus, there we go.
Amumu and Nautilus both let through. Clearly they valued them. But the Jarvan takeaway, so that was what we saw first picked for SCS last time. Clearly they put value on it. It did do quite a lot of work in that early game. A couple of those fights went their way, and they're gonna stick to what worked. Picking up that vein. It's Revelio's favorite.
Yeah, I feel like Revelio kind of realizes now that they don't think that Vayne is gonna, but the Salty Tricks from Bombing Dude can challenge him in lane, and if that's the case, then like, why should they switch away from the Vayne? It's on Salty Tricks and Bombing Dude to try and show somehow some aggression towards this Vayne, because Lucian Braum, probably the most aggressive bot lane in the game, was unable to do that to Vayne. So
yeah, all down to that Morgana counter pick. So we'll have to see if they take away the Morgana just to take away any of that safety, or if maybe the supports get through to next rotation and they look to ban it out. Nico locked in. Destiny's Power did a great job on that. We saw some of those ultimates coming up quite huge combo with the Gnar. It's going to be the Thresh. This leaves them vulnerable to the Morgana counter pick. I'm not a fan of this.
You see, on one hand, I'd say, yeah, sure, it's not the best into Morgana, but I like this a lot compared to last game, because last game, they had a lot of early game aggression, but they didn't have much engage potential to go with it. Like, sure, you had a Braum who could engage, you had a Nocturne who was like a very squishy engager, Renekton who could try and do something, but there wasn't anything really hard. Whereas now you've got a Jarvan who can find that, a Thresh who can use the Death Sentence very well, alongside an Orianna who can combo very well. It's a very clear win condition now from Hentai Haven, but this time I have a lot more faith in it because it seems like it's going to be a lot easier to be able to engage onto someone like Revelio, who would like to have a Jarvan and a Thresh.
Yeah, we see the Shen takeaway again, so that's it's the same ban we saw before. Clearly wants to isolate Motor Joe in that top lane. Shen obviously wonderful at finding a carry and sticking to them. There is the Morgana ban, which we were hoping to see. So clearly they valued the Xin Zhao more, even though I don't think it would have been banned out. But obviously McGough wants to pick that up. He did mention it before. It's one of his better champions. Although he had just a fine performance on Jarvan anyway. So we'll see if maybe they really relied on it.
Yeah, and now, I mean, I feel like this Gnar ban's a trap, because I have my money. I think it's going to be Nico top lane this time around. I feel like they know that Mojo can't deal well with range, so they lock in the Nico early instead of picking a Gnar. Like, it makes a lot more sense. Like, why would you pick Xin Zhao over the Gnar there if it wasn't Nico top?
True, but they can always hold it in the flex. I mean, they should lock in their support here and just there's the Lulu and just hold the last pick to see what they're presented with. There's the Orianna, who is obviously incredibly safe in lane and hard to really shut down. But if they sort of show a vulnerable top laner, I fully expect Pickles to pick a counter and just take that matchup.
Yeah, Orianna's very good at playing safe in lane, but usually that's paired with a safe summoner spell, which is what I'm going to bring up again. If I'm before tasting light on Orianna, I'm not going to be a happy bunny.
You got it. You gotta love it. Sometimes those shockwaves just don't have quite the punch you need. There's the Tristana, good into Vayne. Obviously, they banned the Caitlyn to try and cover ban that Vayne, but there's a lot of AD carries open for salty tricks. Things like the Draven, things like Kaiser even, which just do just fine into Vayne. And it's going to be the Scion, which gives Pickles Man the opportunity to take what he wants into that matchup. If he does want the Nico, there it is.
Yeah, well, and that sound very good at being able to scale up, be this big tank in the end of the game. But it's whether or not he can get to that point. And this time it's Pickles Man with the aggression, locking in the Renekton pick that Motojo tried to execute last time. Will he show him how it's done?
I love the SCS draft here. There's a very clear win conditions. You have the early game from the Renekton, that bridge from the Nico just to hold out, and then obviously we've seen what Vayne can do, picking up triple kills just by AFKing.
And now
Whereas
it's Lulu. Like, that is mega late game.
so safe. They have a very clear win condition. They can win early, mid, or late, and I love that. What they probably can't do is deal with being engaged on too hard if Lulu isn't around. If they've got the Lulu, they can protect somebody. But if that Jarvan finds a target and they don't have flash, that the follow-up CC from that Thresh, from the Orianna, from the Tristana just jumping forward and dealing damage from a safe distance.
Yeah, I'm
going to be a power.
Yeah, and whilst you look at the composition from SCS, it's very flexible. There's so many different ways they can approach the game with that composition. Like, they can go early game, they can go mid game, they can go late game. They have so many win conditions. Hence, like, I even have one win condition and it's engage, but it's very clear across the composition that's how they want to play it. They have Sion, Jarvan, and Thresh, three fantastic engaging champions, alongside both Tristana, who can very easily hop in and out of fights alongside the big engage, and then also the Orianna, who can one more come up with a shockwave, and we've all seen what an Orianna driver can do. Like, I really like Haven's clear identity here at the composition. They know what they want to do. They've made it very easy to execute on that composition. There's going to be very much, there isn't going to be any mechanical struggles of Sion, Java, and Fresh or Tristana. Like, you know what you're doing in that composition. It's going to be more on how do SCS react to this kind of composition, because they know what Haven wants to do. Mid-game engages, get vision control, and then kill people through that. What are they going to do in response? Will they smash top lane and try and use that pressure to their advantage? Will they try and stave off any sort of pressure bot lane? Will Destiny's Power take control of the mid lane again? Because once again, someone stuck Ignite and I'm not a happy bunny. Like, who knows?
Yeah, no, it's a questionable one from Nightmare, especially after last performance. He must have some respect towards Destiny Power's Nico. We saw it hitting a lot of stuns and a lot of damage, so clearly he thinks he can take this matchup, and it can be quite safe with the Orianna. You can always opt into a bad matchup and just max your shield. So I don't envision him dying in these fights, but I don't envision him getting too many kills, and I don't think that Ignite's going to have too much value on it. The one thing I can see maybe the value in the Ignite is because they need something to stick on that Vayne to nullify Lulu, but really it shouldn't be the Orianna doing that.
Yeah, it shouldn't be at all. And really looking across this, so Renekton Sion, I think, is pretty Renekton favourite. I don't think people are going to argue Sion will smash that matchup. Orianna Nico, like you said, it can be good for Orianna, but I still consider it quite an even matchup, I think, for both champions. I feel like it is going to be the better player who comes out on top in that one. But this spot lane is something I want to talk about, because Vayne Lulu, we know in the late game they're going to be absolute monsters. But in the early game, instead of having that engage and Morgana, those bindings were doing so much work last game. They had the Lulu instead. And with a Tristana fresh, I feel like there are potential opportunities for Salty Trickster and Bombing Dude to actually take advantage of this bot lane if they're able to. Do you see that happening or not?
It's all on whether Ravello can position himself out of flare range. Lulu does win the Thresh matchup until Thresh can find an entrance. Like, Lulu will obviously poke him down, and if they can get that levels 1 to 2, where Thresh only has one of his tools, maybe a hook that's not very reliable or a flame that's a bit short range, Lulu can do a lot of work. If they can weather through that, the flay into jump forward combo is going to do a lot of work. And Lulu is very squishy. So it all depends on if they can keep their distance and poke them down early. If I see Hentai Haven hitting level 2 first, I expect that all in to come straight away.
Yeah, imagine that 4-man dive bot lane, or a 4 or 5-man with the Jarvan or Rihanna coming down from the side and tower diving. That could be huge, and that really could be one of their big win conditions, is shutting Ravello down through this hard engage. However, loading screen is coming up for you guys once again. Game 2 of this best of 3. Can Hentai Haven take that punch back? They've made a statement with their composition. They know what they want to do. But can they prove that they can stand up to the sons of Capri Sun we'll have to see as we head into game now.
Yeah, and I expect a few less shenanigans early game. Obviously, Jarvan's great at scouting, but not very good at doing too much on the early game. The Thresh, it's unreliable. We'll have to hope that we see some sort of defensive covering vision from both of them, as I don't really give the early game to anyone in particular. What I want to talk about is the gank setup for the top lane. So obviously, both of these champions can really help a jungler gank for them. But with Renekton's ability to dash out of a Scion Q and avoid that decimating smash, it is a much more reliable gank on the side of Sons of Capri Suns. So seeing if they can use that to their advantage to get this Renekton ahead. He's gone press the attack, so we know exactly his intention is to stun someone down and just rip them in half. We'll have to find out if they play around that or if some good vision from Delight and Motojo kind of keeps him safe.
Yeah, not Renekton. I mean, I saw him grab the Dorman's shield, then sell that. No. We're going Dorman's blade this matchup. Pickles man, he's feeling himself there. He's really looking to push this matchup.
As well, he might off his last performance. I expect probably a few overconfident plays might come through. We might see him die. He is sat on a ward. He probably knows about it. As we just see that line of scrimmage from everybody, keeping the jungle secure. No shenanigans like last time. It seemed like they probably both got a little bit scared.
Yeah, and people hovering around here got a little bit spooked by twos and jars, so I realized it's Nico. This is going to be something that happens to me.
We're going to have a great time casting. I don't imagine that Nico will be using the passive too much, but just to troll casters at the start of the game. Seems to be its main use.
Oh, now it's Renekton in the mid lane. Oh, what a matchup. But yeah, both junglers, no level 1 shenanigans this time. Very standard starts for both of the junglers. Bot lane leash, top lane is walking top lane. You know, all seems very standard. The question is that what Sons of Capri Suns or Hento Haven want, really?
I mean, I think what we're seeing is knowing that the Xin Zhao's going to be making an inroad either to the top or the mid lane, it makes sense for Delight to try and mirror him and follow him up the jungle. Obviously, they have no vision of where he actually is, and there's not any wards on, say, the Raptor camp or the red buff. So they're not going to know for sure he's there and he's not sneaking into the bot lane. But it's a pretty safe bet, knowing where he started, that he's going to be heading towards that top side to pick up his red buff.
Yeah, it certainly makes a lot of sense, and it does mean that Psytrix and Boeing Dude kind of know that, okay, yeah, he started bot side, means he's probably going to be heading to the top side. That level 2 won't be in the junglers around. They've hit that point, but they haven't pulled the trigger.
But they're using it to good effect. They're zoning out, as you expect them to do. It's a shame they couldn't sort of hold the wave a bit further back or crash into the tower. They have to commit to either now letting Rivello push this out slowly, or if they can shove us into the tower, get a full reset for wave 3, and take a fight. But we see in the mid lane, Nightmare Thor doing great work on that Orianna. Obviously, good safe poke from the champion, but you expect something back from the Nico at this point. So he's doing good work to hammer him down. Although his mana bar has suffered for it.
McGough doesn't like the fact you were saying that. Nightmare Thor going to be taking a good bit of damage here. McGough not able to score anything else, as it will just be the pressure being earned in that mid lane.
Yeah, and that's a good gank just to sort of push Nightmare Thor away, puts him in that Ignite danger range. But they do get good vision of McGough, and if Delight's been sort of paying attention, should know what camps he's got. Heading back to his bot side for a Krug clear, and then you have to imagine he's going to try and do battle on that Skull Crab with the bot lane pressure.
Yeah, we'll see if he wants to. I mean, yeah, look at that bot lane pushing in Vayne and Lulu, keeping him under that tower. And this time, there is no freeze just outside the tower. It is Vayne and Lulu under that tower.
Yeah, and they get it the whole way in. Should mean that this wave slowly does push out, which is ideal for Tristana. She can pick up some sort of safe farm while her range is still very low. Remember that passive does have to scale. So if she can sort of get that safe CS, hits level, say, 5 or 6, she'll start to out-range this Vayne and be able to safely step up to his minions.
Oh, McGough, he's top lane now. Second gank of the game for him. But this time, Mojo, you've got no way out, buddy. The first one goes over to the Xin Zhao. Nothing that Mojo could do about that. Flashes a little bit too late. That's going to be first blood to the Terminator, but McGough able to get some early pressure for himself.
Yeah, Picklesman's going to be happy just taking the pressure. Force this lane in, get Mojo's TP, and see if he can make a play like the last game where he had a TP advantage. It's a good, it's a good gank, and it's the Hail of Blades. You expect this kind of aggression. I kind of want to see Mojo probably placing a few more defensive wards, knowing about it. But he has been pushed in, so he He does pay the price for that sort of
Oh, flag and
pressure.
drag, but there's no mana on the Oriana. You could, uh, I'll question mapping that one in my books. I mean, good prank, Frank being pressure gank. You know, like we saw for Xin Zhao early on, getting Death pound a little bit lower, making him feel a little bit more antsy. But the thing is that Mythor doesn't have the mana to really push this Nico out of the lane or do much damage to her in the first place right now. Like, he needs to find a way out of this lane.
Couple of orders, a Q and an Ignite, and we'll be eating our words.
That's true.
It looks like actually I want to see one of the junglers come and relieve the other mid laner, because neither of them really are safe to push out here.
Oh no, McGough. Oh, that's such a cheeky position. And Mojo's just letting the wave push in. That's actually really smart of him. Oh, will anything happen here is the question. Pigglesman is starting to really go aggressive. I think Xin Zhao just showed.
I think he just showed himself, yeah. Yep. There he is.
And Mojo, he's not going to feel that gang whatsoever. And that's so much time being wasted by McGough in the top lane. Look at the farm lead already between the two junglers. Whilst McGough has managed to score that kill, he's already about 8 CS behind. There's Java now hopping onto his crux.
Yeah, and he did get spotted out on that ward, so I'm not going to be able to make too much of an advantage out of that sort of free information. But he's going to use that to sneak into the bot lane and set up a gank with Bombing Dude.
Yeah, and this could be the play that they're finally looking for, to finally push Ravello and the Viking Wins to a disadvantage in the lane, because once they have got that CS discrepancy, it feels like they're very much this brick wall that's hard to break down when you look at the way they play. So we'll see if they're able to secure anything, but...
Yeah, and the wave's just about to come out. Delight's committed a lot of time to this game. They kind of have to see it through now and at least get a couple of flashes. Salty Trickster not really selling the gank, playing very aggressive for what they're trying to show as a 2v1. And it looks like the spy senses of Ravello have just been tingling. And he's going to sit quite nice and safely under his tower. Really smart play, good awareness.
Yeah, Motojo, he's taking a good chunk of damage in this top lane, being forced to use that corrupting potion and going low as a scaling guy. Not what you want to be doing against a Renekton who can be so aggressive. If you are a melee ranged carry, you has to step up to take those minions, you know. Renekton can be right there to try and help. And we talked about how that lead was going to be gained by Delight with McGough sitting in top lane. He's in the exact same thing bot lane, and now they're practically even again. Like,
yeah, they're just going on to their second buff clears. We'll have to see if the blue buffs are donated. Doesn't look like McGough is going to be so generous. So we'll have to see if Oriana can pick that up, as that will give a real good advantage for that pressure. And then we can expect to see, if they do manage to push those out, Cloud Drake collapse, which would be not the most impactful Drake in this game, but you never want to say no to it now. It does give you that in-combat movement speed.
Yeah, it's more having the option to force a fight somewhere around that, because when you have the likes of a fresh Draven and Sion alongside the Oriana Tristana, forcing fights around things like the Dragon and Rift Tower is something you're really going to want to do when you are playing those mid-game team fight compositions. So really, like, that is still something they're going to want to look towards. Despite the fact it is a Cloud Drake, it's going to be useful if they're able to get a pick off of it. And I think Rift Tower will be also something to look towards, even if Pokemon has a lot of pressure.
Mojo steps too far forward. This is dangerous.
Oh, yeah, Mojo's gone there.
Oh,
great block of the Sun Ultimate by Picklesman. Great job by him. And now he's going to get his first kill of the game, but that CSC going to grow stronger and stronger. Some plating is now going to head into the plate of Picklesman. And this Renekton starting to snowball. And that's always a worry with Renekton pick. We saw it last game and it didn't take off. But this game, I mean, a Renekton that starts taking off and being too powerful, I mean, you can't deal with that.
Yeah, and I want to highlight how smart he played that as well. He knew that he had the caster minion advantage, able to cause like a slow push towards him. Motojo realizes he has to try and break that, but oversteps his mark. Probably overestimates his tankiness, and Pickled knows as soon as he engages, he can go in. There's no hesitation there. As we see a fight in the bot lane.
Yeah, we do indeed. So it's just going aggressive with the jump, but I'm not sure that's what you want to do. Takes a lot of damage on the edge of that fight, and the shields from Lulu so strong there.
Yeah, that was a great trade. It jumps forward, not the best fight. And since I was on the Drake, he should probably get that completely uncontested. His job is not quite close enough, and they don't have any vision. So it's going to be a good pickup from McGough, just knowing that he has a bit of advantage, as he forced Delight, I think, to go clear the top wave.
Yeah. Oh, great death sentence, but no one's around to capitalize on it. That's very sad.
Good thing he didn't take that smart play. I was kind of worried. Then he'd jump in. Obviously, with that wild growth ignite, that would have been a pretty bad day for Bombing Dude. So it's smart not to take that. just showing a bit of dominance by hitting it, I think.
Yeah, it certainly is. And if you can land a hook like that when you've got Salty Tricks and Delight hanging around the lane, all of a sudden, that's a fantastic play. It's just hoping he can land those hooks when he needs to. It's a key thing there. Is mid lane still fairly even. It's still the mana. It's consistently been a problem for Nightmare Thor, as you've kind of spotted. Hasn't been able to get his hands on a Lost Chapter yet, but on the Blasting one and the Amp Tome instead. So he is starting to fall behind in the kind of sustain war of trying to poke out the enemy laner. And the longer this goes on, the more Thor is going to suffer in this lane. As Mojo just cannot deal with Pickles, man. Look, he's just able to step up so aggressively into Mojo just behind the minion wave, but there's nothing the Mojo can do about it.
Yeah, and now that we see the bot lane, the Drake go down, I'm almost expecting them to sort of push this wave in and call for a swap, but the TP's going up top. Mojo still wants to opt into this matchup, despite the fact he is 1,300 gold down to the Renekton, who's finished the Black Cleaver compared to the partial items for that Sunfire Cape, which is not going to do enough work. And Xin Zhao has used that pressure really well to just take this Rift Herald.
Yeah, certainly has. It's going to be very, very useful for him to get hold of. Do get plating, which is good in the bot lane. That's the first advantage you really see. But once again, Ravello and the Viking Wind seem to be so good at just holding out in these tough lanes. And really, they've only gone down one plating in like a few CS. They're playing Vayne Lulu, who are supposed to be the late game spiking champions.
Yeah. Oh, and that early pop, looks like, look at the investment from McGough here. All of that gold he wants onto Pickles, man.
Oh, big Tiger Drag though! Gets the kill. Good job by Delight catching out McGough there. Like, I wouldn't take that fight against Tickles, man. I think you'll lose that. But Nightmare Thor's here to say, oh, wait, never mind. He has backup with the flash forward, but the ultimate not going to land there. Delight going into the tower, but what's going to happen? I don't know what Nightmare Thor is doing here, but this is so, so risky of him. Plating is being knocked down in the mid lane whilst his pressure's trying to be invested into the top lane, and
what was
I'm not sure about that one by Nightmare Thor. That was a bit of an odd play.
Yeah, great counter gank from Delight. Sees that the Rift Herald goes down, doesn't notice Xin Zhao, and just tracks his way up there, which is really nice. Nightmare Thor possibly then overstaying it, a bit zealous on the counter gank, burns the flash, and Destiny's Power picks up 2 or 3 plates off of this.
3, I think. Off of that one realm, and now that gold lead, all of a sudden, look at the CS differential as well. Destiny's Power is 1k gold up on Nightmare Thor. Mainly due to that one roam, really.
Yeah, and that's quite big when you're looking to finish off your Luden's Echo. The first person to get that gets the push and gets the priority. Whomever can hit that breakpoint first is going to have a great time. Destiny's Power probably come back and finish that off, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he'll finish it off because he doesn't have a blasting one in his inventory yet, but we'll be able to secure that. So we're looking at around about another 1k gold for the.
There's a gank in the bot lane.
There is McGough going for the flash forward onto Salty Tricks. The Bombing Dude already going down. Xin Zhao cannot catch up to Salty Tricks in the end, thanks to the great use of the Buster shot. But in the end, 1 for nothing.
We see the weakness of the Thresh there. They were pushed up, they had vision, but over the blast cone, Xin Zhao even hesitates and sort of stutter steps, but that's still not enough time for Bombing Dude to get away. He does die with the flash, and you think he probably should have been burning that.
At the same time, I feel like he dies even if he burns the flash.
Perhaps, but you might get the counter flash, but you might be right. Once you're knocked up by that wild growth and Vayne's condemning you, you're in a bad spot.
I think if you see the Xin Zhao come in like instantly, then flash away. But by that point, he would have had a chance. I feel like the flash is just kind of to maybe get another flash, and especially isn't that worth it. Mojo, Jesus,
he's shredding out. It's the press the attack. It's doing a lot of work on him. But it has been good play from Ravello and Viking Wings. Again, they have managed to freeze that wave, even into a Tristana, who's obviously great at shoving the wave in. So they've managed to hold it, for the most part, to a point where the Thresh is vulnerable. So it's been good play, even though they have sort of been conceding some CS. They're still down despite that kill. But you have to think with the Vayne, you take a 4 or 5 CS discrepancy at 14 minutes.
You certainly do. I mean, they only conceded 1 plating in a meta where we're typically expecting whole bot lane towers to go down because of the state of a matchup. To be able to hold it to the point where only 1 plating goes down is huge. But Mojo, you should not be stepping up that far, buddy. Pickles, man, is going to stop you in your tracks. Forces the charge out there by Mojo. But Pickles, man, now full priority over this top lane, knowing that there's no way that Mojo is going to be able to contest it.
And once again, McGough smartly just sees Delight going topside on that Riskel, heads to the Drake and picks it up for free. There is going to be no pressure from Thresh. He's going to sort of look to have a hook, but McGough's going to pick that up. Just catching these objectives as we do see Orianna moving to collapse.
Yeah, Bombing Dude takes a bit of damage there. He needs to be careful here, but they are throwing them off the dragon, which is very important. They're wasting 3 members' time here. Difference is that they're also bringing Nightmare Thor along, which I'm not really sure why he's positioning so deep into the river when he could have been pushing in mid, but you know, I need to stop being such a harsh critic.
No, I like that from Nightmare Thor. He goes and cuts off the retreat from Xin Zhao, force him to have to abandon the dragon, because if he goes and commits to it, that's a shockwave you're not going to miss. It's unfortunate that Destiny's Power had to react there, because if he was had to base there, if he'd been able to react, you imagine that would have just been a walk away from the objective and a free pickup. So nicely done from Nightmare Thor and Bombing Dude, just to position themselves threateningly enough that McGough has to respect it, even though he had the advantage and the Drake was down to 2,000 with no jungler.
Yeah, certainly. And now it's seeing what's going to happen because the game has hit a bit of a static, but the Pop Blossom is huge. Nightmare Thor has been tucked down. Destiny's Power gets his first kill of the game. It's a solo kill on to the Orianna player. And now that push is going to be so impactful because remember all the damage that mid lane tower took, when Destiny's Power was able to take advantage of the roam that Nightmare Thor happens. Now they're able to secure the dragon, whilst that mid lane tower dropping so low, and in the end, I feel like it will end up going down. But big play here from Head to Haven. They want to bring it back. They get the kill onto Viking Wins, but it's only going to be 1-for-1, and they are outnumbered in this fight. The light goes down too, and so Trickster uses a good burster shot, but I don't think it's going to be enough. This jump is not available for himself. He does try and get out the best he can. He is able to escape by the skin of his teeth with a fast forward Revelio. Nope, you ain't getting out of here. That's 3 kills over to 3-0 and 1 Vayne at 16.5 minutes. Oh,
and it was a greedy heal flash for the Vayne, but what it gets them is this tower. Nico able to use the pressure onto the Orianna, collapses, takes the Drake. It's textbook play, and it's really good from SCS. As that top lane is now just running independently thanks to that one Xin Zhao gank. We see the impact. 50 CS ahead, 2 kills. The tower's gone down. Top lane is fine. And bot lane, they've managed to dig out from whatever small hole they were in thanks to the pressure. Vayne now has 3 kills.
And the thing is that we saw last game a Vayne that went even, who very solidly held up. And we knew that even in the late game, that would be monster. Now, Vayne, who's accelerating far ahead, is going to be near unstoppable very, very soon into this game. And when that point is hit, I don't think you can. Vayne's a very hard champion to engage on, anyways, because you have with the final, you have the invisibility, a lot of mobility with the tumbles, and to try and land a fresh hook onto someone like that can be so difficult, especially when even if you do land that hook, the amount of tank shred that Ravel is going to have available to him means that it's going to be too hard to execute, really. And this Vayne snowballing very, very strong in Nightmare Thor. Goodbye.
Pickle Man lurking in the river like the crocodile he is, picks up an easy kill. And we have to bring it back to that Vayne, as you were saying. That the Rage Blade, 18 minutes, and he's got 2 of the main components. This is going to be really hard for them to deal with. And I want to see what the pickup from Lulu, that Ardent Sensor, just to make, Mikhail's Crucible, just to make sure that if CC does land, that Vayne can just walk out of it free without having to burn anything, as we don't see the cleanse. Salty Trickster, good to pick up a turret here, but we'll have to see if Pickles Man says that's the end of your day.
Well, he will, won't he? I mean, the jump comes through. The teleport is also coming through, I believe, from Mojo. Actually, never said actually for Hensley Haven briefly at the start of this fight. We'll see what they're able to do with it. Unstoppable Onslaught gets the double knock up 2. The stun comes through into McGough. He is gone. But 4 people in a choke point. Are you sure you want to be that against the Nico? But, Destiny's Power is going to disengage from this. Finally, a fight going the way of Hentai Haven, and now they're going to have a lot of top priority. However, avert your eyes to the bottom of the map. I mean, this Bombing Dude is being forced to flash away. The Faction also comes through. It's about getting knocked at the Pop Blossom, unable to be used as Jarvan secures a shutdown onto Destiny's Power. Pokemon forced out of this fight. However, the priority on bot lane is just insane. And it means that despite the fact that Hentai Haven are winning out very strong in this fight, overall, I mean, they're still kind of going even.
We'll have to see what Solid Trickster can do. He's got time on that turret. He's got the satchel charge, and he's managed to take it down to about a half before he'll have to walk away. That's really nice from Haven. It's what we wanted to see, that sort of choke point collapse. Jarvan over the wall, uses the Cataclysm, gets the flash, and then cuts off any support, so Nico can't come in with the Pop Blossom. They're using it to get a tower and a half, as well as all that shutdown. And suddenly the gold lead is only 3,000.
Yeah, and that's big for them, because now this Jarvan, Delight's having a great performance, 2-1 and 2 on this pick himself, and you want to see him continue to play proactive, play for these aggressive plays, because it works out. It's very clear that whilst I still think in the late game it's going to be hard to engage, it's your one tool and you need to be able to use it well. And the last fight, Lulu, like you mentioned in the champs, that if Lulu isn't there, they can make the plays happen. Lulu was sat in bot lane that whole time, so it meant that they could easily secure the plays onto the likes of Pigmasman, McGough, and Destiny's Fat.
Yeah, and they send Nightmare Thor down, just the one member to deal with it. It was really smart map rotation play from them, and they absolutely capitalized it. The mid tower goes down first, despite that 3-plate disadvantage they had. But it looks like SES is just going to try and engage a fight off the back of it.
They are. The shockwave is huge. Look at that. Revelio barely survives, but I don't think it'll be for long. He is kiting very, very well for himself. The Pop Blossom will also stun up Motojo, which means he will go down too. But that is such a great one-bow combo. And that is exactly what you want to see from the Hentai Heaven squad. But Naya 4, he's going so low. Double kill going over. Oh, what a play, though, by Salty Tricks. Able to secure the kill onto McGough, but will he escape from the Renekton?
He's very trapped here.
Destiny's Power also going incredibly low, but look at the Summoner Spurs. There's nothing about it for Salty Tricks. He's going to go down too. In the end, it is a 3-for-3. However, it will be Hentai Haven with the priority in the mid lane, but it will be Renekton pushing down that top lane.
I think we've just seen the kernel that is the hope for Hentai Haven here. That was an excellent engage from the start. Manages to hit just with his ult alone half of Vayne's health. The shockwave comes through, pulls them all together. They didn't quite have the Tristana there to finish off the damage, but now that she's been able to pick up a Phantom Dancer, you have to imagine that she's going to throw herself into these fights a little more. And I see that being a clean ace, or a wiped team fight if they had the Tristana there. Next team fight, if Hentai Haven can pick their engage, I would give to them, and maybe there's going to be something around this dragon as we see them clearing out the vision and Zinzao is heading towards it.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Motojo, though, has been a key factor in both of the most recent fights for Hentai Haven in those wins. His unstoppable onslaughts have been great, but Bombing, dude, you're a big source of engage. They need you in that fight, buddy. But now you've been popped. That ain't very good, is it?
Not many words about that one. That is a very squishy Thresh with just the Knight's Vow, and that's a Nico with double pen. So
I just realized now, after this dragon has been secured, that's 3 Cloud Dragons for the side of Sons of Caprice, and that means that their ability to kind of rotate across the map is going to be boosted a lot by just the amount of movement speed they're going to have.
Yeah, they're kicking themselves. It wasn't Infernal, as we do see 4 damage dealers on the team, but they'll take the clouds as they know Infernal is coming up next. We'll see if they still maintain their advantage when that does spawn. With a 4.5k gold lead, completed Rageblade onto that Vayne, 2 items onto the Nico, 2 items onto the Renekton. They do have a commanding position. It's whether or not they can sort of strangle out the vision, force fights that involve essentially Hentai Haven's walking into a Pop Blossom, and carry this lead into the late game for the Vayne.
Yeah, exactly. It's certainly possible. It's just whether they can execute it. We have seen Hentai Haven in the last few fights come out on top thanks to some great one-bow combos, and if they're able to pull some of them off more often, then all of a sudden this game could be looking Hentai Haven favored. A nice alarm.
Sorry, stream. That's a default alarm there.
Don't worry. That one tone triggers me because it used to be my alarm, and that happens with any alarm tone I have. I switch it. I hear it again. I'm like, oh, for God's sake, it's that alarm. Alarm bells are going to be ringing for Pipkasman now because he is 1v3 right now. He's getting incredibly tanky, though, and he's not dying. He refuses to. And McGough is now in the midst of all the things, and the light, he's going to be forced to run away. Now, trying to get away, too. But the fast forward means that Command 7 doesn't want to go for himself. The light needs to get out of the situation. There's also a fight happening mid lane at the same time. But dude is going to be took down by Revelio. And now Motojo, he is not going to be able to escape too. He's not tanky enough. But the flag and drag is huge as McGough goes down under this tower. Look at the mid lane now, 3 members strong. Is Sons of Caprice as they're trying to start the siege onto the mid lane inhibitor turret. It's just whether or not they can execute it in the first place. Mojo trying to step up to Pipkasman, but I wouldn't recommend that for him right now. He's very, very low, needs to be careful. Pipkasman, such a source of pressure in this top side.
Yeah, and Sons of Caprice win the 2v3 disadvantage and then Henterhaven opt into a 2v3 disadvantaged fight. That goes predictably. Sons of Capri-Suns does as well with the Renekton this fed, and that is a lot of pressure down. The inhibitor turret goes down to half in the mid lane as they break that tower, kill the Thresh, and Tristana's just able to get away to clear the wave. I expect now we see a little bit of a cheat towards the Baron from both of these teams, as we see the pink wards finally being picked up for Sons of Capri-Sun. One for Nico, one for Lulu, a couple for Xin Zhao. Choke out this vision and see what they can do with it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this Baron buff is certainly going to be an incredibly important objective at this point in the game, because whoever gets that has a huge advantage in terms of pushing, and that's so, especially on this mid lane, which has been a very volatile point. There's been a lot of kind of back and forth in the minion waves. It's just, if someone gets the Baron buff of a good like kill lead from it as well, then all of a sudden your inhibitor's just gone, and that's going to be the case with either of these teams. It's just who can set up better around the Baron. Because right now, Tristana Fresh, they dumped both of those champions in the top side because they've realized how important top side priority is going to be when talking about this Baron buff.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know if it was there before the previous fight, but we do now see that Ardent Sensor onto the Lulu. The Quicksilver Sash has gone through for the Vayne, so that's going to be a bit of a powerhouse. Each of those auto attacks just ripping through, and even if you can lock it down, if she's given the QSS, you're going to be able to turn that fight, use the stealth, keep safe. There's a lot of pressure that they're generating from Renekton, and I love this 104 split where Pickles Man is free to hit on the tower.
Oh, when Onslaught comes through, but unfortunately not able to do anything to Pickles Man. It tickles Pickles, if you will. As now, he does get knocked up, but it's going to be a little bit of a noodle fight happening here. But also, just need to be careful. You can't disrespect this Renekton right now, because it's not going to work out for you, buddy. However,
he has 174 armor. I feel like he can afford a little bit of disrespect.
Well, a little bit. You have to still be very careful. I mean, it is a Scion who is going to be slowly but surely scaling up with that Dobby passive, getting more and more tanky the more we talk about it. But still, it's something that we have to be wary of. You know, Mojo, I've seen him die too many times for me to be able to just say, yeah, I'll be fine now. Like,
oh, and the Baron's going to be started up. They've just seen the Thresh and the Tristana bot lane. Picklesman pulling all of that pressure. Do they peel off the Baron? Does Jarvan try and steal this with the help of that Shockwave? We'll have to find out.
Yeah, I know they disengage, they peel off because they want to force the fight. They're like, great Cascus is there, going to kill Viking Wizard 2. Oh no, he gets out at the end, and that's huge. He's stuck in the front line with no help. He's going to get popped. Delight has no way in against Revalio. He's going to get killed too. That Vayne is on a rampage. Double kill behind the Pop Blossom. Also going to secure a kill. This is looking like an absolute run over. Triple kill for the Vayne here. Looking to make it a quadra kill, but not going to be able to as Nightmare 4 peels off himself. But that is going to be a free Baron buff going over to the side of the Sons of Capri-Sun. And there was hope for Henterhaven, but it is dwindling, and it is dwindling fast because you cannot frontline as Tristana versus the Vayne.
Yeah, no, MVP to Viking wins. He presses his shield onto the Vayne, sits back and does nothing else for the rest of the fight. And Vayne, with that shield, with that extra damage, is just able to walk through the Tristana. It was close, probably missing 1 or 2 auto attacks, which you feel like would have really changed the game. But Sons of Capri-Sun walk away with the Baron buff, look towards this Infernal Drake, and then are going to set their eyes on this base.
Yeah, they are indeed. Infernal Dragon going to be their next point of contention, making sure they get scooted up before Henterhaven could even think about it. And finally, after getting 3 Cloud Drakes in a row, they're able to secure the one that they want, that we were talking about earlier. That Infernal Drake going to be so huge to buff up the damage of Vayne, Nico, Xin Zhao, Renekton. Big damage dealers getting that extra boost is going to be so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And options now running thin for Henterhaven. They've still got the wave clear from the Orianna and the Tristana, but against these Baron minions, I don't know if it's going to do enough, as we see Renekton once again putting 2 people into the bottom lane, taking that AD carry and support pairing wherever he wants them to go. He's currently putting some pressure down with no teammates assisting as they farm out their jungle, but it just shows you the fear that Henterhaven have of this pick. It's just able to be around the map, pull members to it, and I expect this sort of 1-0-4 split where SES pick either mid or top lane, barrel down towards it, and let Renekton do the rest of the work for them across the map.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a tough spot for Henterhaven now, because bear in mind now they don't have the benefits of it's about last game of, okay, let's reset this towards the next game. If there's no next game, you need to somehow bring this out the bag, and it's going to be a difficult one for them. But they still have a very clear win condition. If they can catch someone out of another unstoppable onslaught with a shockwave around, or maybe Delight and bombing you guys a good flank alongside that shockwave, the one more combo potential is huge. It's just trying to execute that when you have no control over your jungle is a lot more difficult than I'd like to make it out to be.
Yeah, and unfortunately people at home can't really see the fog of war, but there's one pink ward very close to Enter Haven's base, and everything else on the map is dark. They have no vision, but they're going to try and find an engage as Sound runs into a wall. And that kind of means go time for the Sons of Capri Sun. Their main engage is down. What can they get done? As Renekton is just fighting the Thresh in the bot lane too.
Oh yeah, I don't think Poker's going to be complaining about that one. One slight issue I have with Sons of Capri Sun right now, they need to be synchronizing when the waves are pushing. Right now, you see the top lane wave crashes, people go to deal with that, and by the time that's been dealt with, they're able to start walking up mid lane. Now, like you see, they're only able to just get this turret. You need to be able to synchronize those pushes together to get the maximum out. But however, Motojo gets stunned up. He's going to be took down very, very low, but he's not going to be killed. But Bombing Dude, yeah, you're going to be killed there, buddy. No escape for Salty Trickster either. Revelio.
I think they're taking the game here.
Yeah, they certainly will. The inhibitor goes down, but they're not going to go for the base.
Wait, stop paying so much respect. You can take this.
They can very easily win the game here, but they choose not to. The Nightmare thought, well, I mean, if you just nice shockwave.
Yeah, you gotta say that shockwave had come a little earlier. Perhaps something else, but just stat checking him down. Pickles Man walks up to whoever he wants to the Spirit of Shojin. They get cut down. The GG well played coming in from some of the members on the teams. You imagine that they're probably going to push the end here.
Yeah, I mean, what a dominant performance again by Sons of Capri Sun. They look so strong, and the thing is that I think you can point out certain players as having no performances, but the whole team together just making better macro calls than most silver gold teams that I saw last split, to be honest, when we were seeing a lot of people who probably shouldn't have been in the silver gold league, if I'm to be perfectly honest. So overall, I mean, the Sons of Capri Sun look like a contender for the split already from the way they're playing. Like,
and this has been a commanding performance. It looks like they're going to do it by the books. Back away now. The Baron buff's down. There's only 2 minutes on it, refreshing again. Infernal Drake's coming up in 1 minute 30. You imagine they're going to hit both of those objectives and then hit the go button on the Nexus as the last buyers come in. We'll find out what they can pick up. So Morella Nomicons for this Nico are going to be hitting for basically true damage against anyone who hasn't got magic resist. We see yet more items. The Dead Man's Plate comes through for the Renekton just to make sure he can find whatever fight he wants. And the Phantom Dance for Vayne. So even if they do manage to find themselves in the duel, I don't see there's a situation where Enter Havens can pick a fight. The question is, when do they choose to engage and make their last stand? Do they plant their feet, or do they let them come to the next turrets?
yeah, it's about identifying the threats on the side of Sons of Capri Sun and see what they can do with it. Because Magoff, he ain't having the best, even though his team is doing really well, he isn't having the best of games. I think Lulu, the Viking wins, also a point of weakness. So really, I mean, the big targets you're looking at, you need to get Pickles Man away. You can't deal with him really unless you have like at least 3-4 people around.
Yeah,
then,
nearly flame horizoning his counterpart here.
Yeah, it's insane. And then you've got Revelio, who is a monster right now and will take over any fight he's able to. So if you do end up starting a fight, you need to make sure that engage happens. But that's a nice threading of the needle with the unstoppable onslaught there with Motojo.
But they have to keep committing. This is going to be their last opportunity. It's all of their team, but versus someone without the Vayne.
But it is not going to be enough for Pop Blossom. Very, very big for Destiny's power. The double kill going over to Pickles Man here, and Motojo can try and chase as much as he wants to, but he's not going to be able to secure the kill onto Destiny's power. Magoff gets himself a double kill for that, and whilst all this is happening, Vayne and Lulu has secured another dragon, the second Infernal. 5 dragons going over to Sons of Capri Sun. The macro from this team is impeccable, and
there is no chance this doesn't end here. Vayne and Lulu finally gonna join the fight in the base. That was a 3v5 when they took 4 of the members down. Bombindu just able to get away, but not sure what he's going to contribute here. Revelio probably going to pick this. This has been a fantastic series from SES. We've seen them execute all of their lanes very well, knowing their win conditions. And that looks like that's going to be it. What a series from SES.
Yeah, and the thing is that most players in the series had a really good performance. But for me, MVP's the coach. Because to be able to get a team to be able to execute macro that cleanly at this level was something that no one was able to achieve last split. And these guys are coming at the start of this split, and all of a sudden they're performing like someone who I'd expect to be contending for top spots. Like they're looking incredibly strong, and certainly are the favorites coming into the, I'd say, the whole league now. I think after that kind of performance, like that was just dominance in every lane.
Yeah, and that is a gauntlet thrown down to all the other teams. I'm not sure of the results in the other matches yet, but we'll have to see who comes out looking sort of second, contesting that first spot. Because SCS has made a statement here, and that is, if you give Pickles Man any kind of carry, he's going to take over our game, and the rest of our lanes are going to do exactly what they need to enable him. It has been a very strong performance.
Pickles Man had a very strong performance. Revelio, don't give that man vain. That does not work out for you,
that is his favourite pick. Easy scouting that one. He's played more Vayne than anything else by about twice, so worth the wisest ban that one. Of course, Hento Haven were a bit disadvantaged without having their bans, and that will have hurt them, but you almost feel like it didn't change the outcome.
Yeah, I really don't think it did. So, in the end, it is going to be Sins of Capri Sun. They do get the 2-0 victory. They are really showing why they should be, you should keep an eye on these guys, keep them on watch, because they are looking like the best team in Silver Gold right now. I'm throwing it out there because I really do think they do like that. But thanks everyone for coming along. I think we'll pick, any words of wisdom before we head off?
No, I mean, yeah, ban nah. Just had to haven't learned it well, ban nah. But this has been a great performance, and it's not all doom and gloom for Hento Haven. They did have some good macro plays, some great rotations, but it looked like there were a couple of instances where the snowball got rolling and you couldn't stop it. Well played to SES. Good luck, everybody, in your games, and I hope the other results from the matches are good.
They heard it there. Don't go and bear in mind though, guys, isn't the end for VL this week. Of course, Thursday, the Gold Bat League starts its week 2. So make sure to tune in then at 6 p.m. BST to start off that stream. But for now, from me and from Football Pig, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
You chase away my fears. I'm on my own. You made it so, and now I'm chasing nightmares. I used to run with you through the great big leaves, laugh at you when you laugh at me. Hope for us because I believe the home was just you and me. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, I'm gonna do this on my own. No point in blaming you, you did not know. Oh, I thought you were